Mr. McCartney.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, may I welcome you to your position. Thank you very much indeed for inviting me to make my maiden speech here this afternoon. It's quite a nerve-wracking occasion. However, I feel a little bit more relaxed now that we've been talking about football, something that I know very much about. And like the honourable gentleman over there is a red through and through, I'm a blue through and through. I'm a Huddersfield Town fan who play in blue and white. And there are some similarities between our clubs. The great Bill Shankly began his managerial career at Huddersfield Town. I'm not sure how many other similarities we will have over the years, but I look forward to talking to the Honourable Member for Liverpool Walton about football and other things for many years to come. I'd also like to praise the members on this side of the House that have made their maiden speeches earlier. And again, I'll refer to football, the member for Milton Keynes North. I certainly enjoy travelling around Milton Keynes, trying to find the football ground there. And the Honourable Member for Southampton and Romsey, and I wish Southampton Football Club good luck in the forthcoming season without the deficit of 10 points as they had last season, so good luck to them as well. And talking about football, I want to pay tribute to two of my predecessors in my constituency of Colne Valley, and it was at Millwall Football Club 3 weeks ago that I ran into Graham Riddick, who was the Member of Parliament for Colne Valley between 1987 and 1997. I was cheering on the Terriers in the playoffs down at the New Den. I looked along the terracing, and there, lo and behold, was Graham Riddick cheering on the Terriers. It was great to catch up with him, and he's given me many words of advice and encouragement, and I thank him for that. I would also like to say a few kind words as well about my direct predecessor, Callie Mountford, who took a lot of time in helping myself and my office manager in talking us through all the casework, which she so pleasingly handed over to us. She looked very relieved as she did so. And I'd also like to praise her for her work with the Anthony Nolan Bone Marrow Trust, which she's been promoting in recent years. And certainly as a result of her hard work there, I've actually signed up to the Bone Marrow Trust, and I'd like to encourage all members of this House and members of the public to try and do so as well. And that campaign has been motivated by the death of a campaigning journalist from the Huddersfield Examiner, Adrian Sudbury. So well done to Callie for highlighting that. And she suffered from poor health in recent years, so I wish her and her husband Ian all the best of luck in the years to come. Now, coming on to my constituency then, Colne Valley is not exactly the best name for a constituency, because those coming from, say, south of Watford think that it's related to a town called Colne in Lancashire. It's not. We're in Yorkshire, and we're proud to be Yorkshire folk. We're proudly in West Yorkshire. Now, the Colne Valley itself is just one of three main areas in the constituency. Colne Valley has some lovely little mill towns on the River Colne: Marsden, Slathwaite, which we call Slowett, which may need spelling for those that record proceedings here in this House, and Linthwaite as well. I then have some of the suburbs of Huddersfield, from leafy suburbs in Lindley to more sort of densely populated areas with my Kashmiri population in Thornton Lodge. And then we get into the valley which I live in, the Home Valley, which includes my village of Honley, Brockholes, and the big market town of Holmfirth. It really is a beautiful part of the world. Lovely countryside, stone walls, lots of sheep, lots of traditional folk, which brings me on to Cleggy. And Cleggy, he's had a bad time in the past month, this Cleggy. He's had an absolute nightmare. No, not that Cleggy. I'm on about Cleggy from Last of the Summer Wine, who along with his pals Compo and Foggy and Nora Batty are no more, because the BBC have ditched the long-running television series which graced our screens on BBC One on Sunday evening. That very gentle comedy of Yorkshire folk, usually going downhill in a bathtub. Was very much a mainstay of not only our television, but it also helped promote tourism in my constituency. And in Holmfirth, which is just a mile up the road from where I live, we've got a compost cafe, we've got the Wrinkled Stocking Cafe, just 2 doors down from my new constituency office. So we will really, really miss that kind of opportunity to promote tourism. However, this brings me on to the nature of this debate, a high-skilled economy. A lot of people these days, and they probably come up to other members in the House and say, we don't make things anymore, do we? We don't make things. Well, in my constituency, I'm very proud to say that we do. Not on a large scale, but I have a number of enterprising, entrepreneurial, innovative businesses who have set up, sometimes in old mills, to create products that have a niche market, but also are exporting around the world. And I'll just mention a few of them. Little engineering companies like Dathan Engineering in Meltham, they produce specialist gear cutting equipment that is actually used in the Formula One motor racing industry. Allsop's Precision Metal Engineering, using the latest laser guiding cutting tools, and they're taking on apprenticeships. It's not a massive scale, but they have over 100 people, and they're looking to expand. I also have David Brown's Gears in Lockwood, which I visited with the Shadow Minister for Skills in Universities before the election campaign. And they've actually got their own in-house training scheme called the Gear Academy. And they're training some wonderful youngsters up into work on making gear equipment. And those gears are now not only being used in our submarines, but they're being used in the wind turbine industry as well. So that's engineering. I have pharmaceuticals with Thornton and Ross on the River Colne. I have an ice cream factory, Longlease Farm, making the most wonderful ice cream. And they've just opened a new ice cream parlour in Home Firth. And talking of last of the summer wine, we even have a vineyard now as well, a real-life Yorkshire vineyard. A wonderful enterprising young couple called Ian and Becky Cheveling had wonderful high-flying careers, but they gave that up. They bought a lovely plot of land. They've planted their vines. They've just produced their first bottles of rosé, and they've just got planning permission for a tasting centre and an eco-lodge, and that is going to help promote tourism, and we're going to have real bottles of wine from the area of last of the summer wine, and I think that's fantastic. And it's these sort of little enterprises that we, with a high-skilled economy, have got to try and promote. We've got to cut the red tape. We've got to support them with lower taxes. We've got to give them with the skills of the workforce, and we've also got to give them the local infrastructure so that their workers can live and work locally. We've got to support local rural post offices. In my village of Honley, I have a most wonderful couple, Brenda and Duncan Bodnam, who it is not only their livelihood, it's their way of life. They organise the Christmas lights. They help all the old people come in and out. They do dry cleaning. They don't just do all the usual post office services. But post offices, particularly the rural ones, are struggling at the moment. And we know that our post office network was decimated in the past decade. It is really, really important that we support them, because once they're gone, they're gone. We also as well need to support things like rural bus services so that people can live in my rural communities and work there locally as well. We need to support the health centres and the health services, and I'm trying to get full maternity services back in the area of Huddersfield. That is really, really important. So I'm very, very proud to have been elected as the Member of Parliament for Colne Valley. Beautiful part of the world, some enterprising businesses, as I've said, and a fantastic football club in Huddersfield Town. And we are also just down the road, the birthplace of rugby league in Huddersfield. So of course I have to mention the Huddersfield Giants, who are striving hard this season. They're on a bit of a poor run at the moment, but hopefully they will turn the corner. And before I sit down, I would just also like to say that many of us here in this house, particularly the new members, have been through a very gruelling and hard-fought election campaign. I and all my family and friends went through a lot to get here, and I know the Speaker himself had a bit of a tough election campaign in getting back into this house as well. The gentleman over there from Liverpool Walton had a very straightforward election campaign in terms of being in the safest seat of the House, and I would love to know what that feels like, having been in a three-way marginal. I was very, very lucky to have the Prime Minister visiting my constituency, not so lucky to have the Deputy Prime Minister visiting my constituency during the election campaign. But I'd finally just like to pay tribute to my fantastic election campaign team. I had a fantastic campaign manager and a chap called John Travis. I have a fantastic family. My parents live just up the valley from me, and I'd like to pay tribute for them. And my mum and dad have never walked so much in all their lives. It actually takes about an hour just to deliver 3 cottages, because they've got such long walkways and everything like that. And it really is a proud privilege to be here today. I'm itching to get back up to the constituency this evening. The office is up and running, and I'm looking forward to being out in Home Firth and through the valleys over the weekend, representing the people that sent me here. There's a lot to do, and I hope I can do it with vigour and vim, and hopefully cheer on Huddersfield Town to promotion next season. Thank you.
Roberta Blackman Wood.